Did you know that people are 22 times more likely to remember a story than a set of facts? That's right, stories stick in our minds much better than plain information. In fact, the average person forgets about 70% of what they hear in a lecture, but when it's wrapped in a story, they recall 90% of the details. So, what's the secret? How can you turn your words into something unforgettable? The answer is simple: storytelling. But not just any storytelling, amazing storytelling. The kind that grabs attention, keeps people hanging on every word, and makes them remember your message long after you're done speaking. In this video, we'll unlock the secrets to becoming an incredible storyteller. From using the power of silence to mastering your voice, we'll dive into practical strategies that will instantly level up your speaking skills. You'll discover how to turn any story into an emotional journey and keep your audience on the edge of their seats. Ready to transform your speaking and storytelling skills? Let's dive in. Chapter 1: The Magic of the Unspoken, Mastering the Power of Silence. The best speakers know how to use silence as a powerful tool. It's not just about what you say, it's about what you don't say. Pausing for a moment before making a key point gives your words weight and allows the audience to absorb what you've said. A study from the University of Minnesota showed that pausing for 1 to 2 seconds can increase retention by 20%. The magic of silence is its ability to create anticipation. Imagine you're telling a story and you suddenly stop. The audience instinctively leans in, waiting for the next words. That moment of stillness creates suspense, drawing them deeper into your story. It's almost like a magician who pauses before pulling off a trick. Take the legendary Steve Jobs, for example. His famous product launches were filled with perfectly timed silences. He'd introduce a product, then stop, letting the suspense build up before revealing the next big feature. The pause made the audience eager to hear more. Silence also gives your audience time to reflect on your message. In today's fast-paced world, we're constantly bombarded with information. A pause is like a breath of fresh air, allowing your listeners to take in what's important. It's also a sign of confidence. When you pause, it shows you're comfortable with the silence, not rushing to fill the space. Next time you speak, experiment with pausing for effect. Just 2-3 seconds before moving on to the next thought can make a big difference. And don't be afraid of the quiet, it's not awkward, it's powerful. Chapter 2: Emotion over Logic, Speaking with Heart, Not Just Facts. People don't remember facts as much as they remember how you made them feel. The best speakers know how to connect emotionally with their audience. According to the book Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath, stories are remembered up to 22 times more than facts alone. The emotional connection is what sticks. When you speak with passion, your energy becomes contagious. Your audience begins to feel what you're feeling, and that's when your story truly comes alive. Think about how you feel when someone tells you a heartfelt story. They're not just giving you facts, they're giving you a piece of their heart. In his TED Talk, Simon Sinek famously said, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." This is a perfect example of how emotions play a central role in how we connect to ideas. When you speak with heart, you're showing your audience the why behind your message. The power of emotion in storytelling can be seen in the 2013 Super Bowl ad by Budweiser, Puppy Love. It didn't try to sell beer directly. Instead, it used a heartwarming story of a puppy and a horse forming a bond, evoking feelings of friendship, loyalty, and love. The ad generated over 50 million views on YouTube and showed that emotional connections drive the best results. So, when you craft your stories, think about how you want your audience to feel. Do you want them to feel inspired? Motivated? Hopeful? The more you can make them feel something, the more powerful your message will be. Chapter 3: The 3D Effect, Adding Depth to Your Stories with Sensory Details. Great storytelling isn't just about words, it's about creating a vivid world in the minds of your listeners. This is where sensory details come in. Think about the last time you read a book that transported you to another place. The writer didn't just describe the scene, they made you see, hear, and even feel it. For example, if you're telling a story about a walk in the woods, don't just say, "I walked through the forest." Instead, bring it to life. Describe the crunch of the leaves underfoot, the smell of the pine trees, the cool breeze on your skin, and the distant call of a bird. These sensory details create a 3D effect that draws your audience into the experience. According to a study by the University of California, Berkeley, people are more likely to remember details in a story when sensory words are used. The brain processes sensory details in a way that helps us visualize and feel what's happening. So, the more specific you are, the more memorable your story becomes. In The Storytelling Animal by Jonathan Gottschall, it's explained that humans are wired for storytelling because it taps into our ability to imagine. Sensory details help you paint a mental picture, allowing your audience to experience your story on a deeper level. A great example of this is the way J.K. Rowling brings the world of Harry Potter to life. It's not just the plot that draws people in, it's the sensory details that make Hogwarts, Diagon Alley, and the Forbidden Forest feel like real places. The smell of parchment, the sound of wands swishing, and the taste of pumpkin juice are all part of the magic. Try to experiment with sensory language the next time you tell a story. Instead of just saying, "It was a cold night," you could describe the biting cold that nipped at your fingers, making you long for the warmth of a fire. These little touches will make your storytelling stand out and help your audience feel like they're right there with you. By weaving sensory details into your storytelling, you're not just telling a story, you're creating an experience that your audience will remember long after the words have faded. Don't forget to subscribe for more storytelling tips and tricks. Stay tuned for more on becoming a master storyteller. Chapter 4, From Monotone to Magnetic, Unlocking Your Vocal Variety. One of the easiest ways to captivate an audience is through your voice. When you speak with variety, changing your pitch, pace, and volume, you create a dynamic experience that holds attention. A study by the University of California found that people remember 60% more information when speakers vary their tone of voice compared to a monotone delivery. Think of a great speaker like Barack Obama. His speeches were powerful because he used his voice like an instrument. He knew when to slow down, when to speed up, and when to emphasize words. His vocal delivery made his message feel important and urgent, capturing the audience's attention. The secret is in the rhythm of your speech. Varying your vocal tone doesn't mean shouting or talking too fast. It means emphasizing key points by lowering or raising your voice. When you speak softly, people lean in. When you speak loudly, people pay attention. A change in speed can build suspense or excitement. In Talk Like TED, Carmine Gallo highlights how great speakers use vocal variety to convey emotion. He gives the example of Steve Jobs at his 2005 Stanford commencement address. Jobs didn't just talk at the same pace the whole time. He used pauses and shifts in tone to convey his emotions about life and death, making his words far more powerful. A quick tip to practice vocal variety is to read a passage aloud and experiment with the speed and tone. Start slowly, then speed up for excitement, then slow down again for emphasis. Practice makes perfect. When you speak with vocal variety, you not only capture attention, but you also make your message easier to understand. It helps your audience follow along and stay engaged, making them more likely to remember your story long after you've spoken. Chapter 5, The Hero's Journey, Turning Your Story into a Universal Adventure. Every great story follows a familiar structure, the hero's journey. This timeless framework has been used in everything from ancient myths to modern blockbusters. By using the hero's journey in your stories, you can turn even the simplest experience into an epic adventure. The hero's journey starts with the call to adventure, where the hero, you or the protagonist, is invited to embark on a transformative journey. Think of The Lord of the Rings, where Frodo Baggins is called to leave his peaceful life and destroy the One Ring. This setup resonates with audiences because everyone has a call to adventure in their own lives. Joseph Campbell's The Hero with 1,000 Faces introduced the hero's journey, which breaks the journey into 12 steps, like facing trials, meeting mentors, and eventually returning home transformed. This structure taps into the universal themes of growth, change, and overcoming obstacles, which people relate to on a deep level. One of the keys to the hero's journey is the transformation. Your audience connects with stories where characters grow. For instance, in The Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith's character goes from being homeless to achieving success. This transformation resonates because it mirrors the potential for growth in every listener's life. When you tell your story using the hero's journey framework, focus on the transformation. What challenge did you face? How did you grow? These universal elements help your audience relate to your experience, no matter how different it may seem from their own lives. To apply the hero's journey in your own storytelling, think about a personal challenge you've overcome or a significant moment in your life. Then, break it down into the 12 steps, the call to adventure, the trials, the mentor, the transformation, and the return. Doing this will help you craft a story that captivates your listeners from start to finish. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more amazing storytelling tips. Stay tuned for the final chapter. Chapter 6, The Art of the Cliffhanger, Ending Stories That Make 'Em Beg for More. An unforgettable story doesn't just end, it leaves the audience thinking, what happens next? This is the magic of the cliffhanger. A cliffhanger doesn't have to be dramatic or suspenseful, but it does need to evoke curiosity. When done well, it'll have your audience eagerly awaiting your next story. Take the classic TV series Breaking Bad. Each episode ends with a question in the audience's mind, making them tune in the following week. Cliffhangers aren't just for television, they're a powerful tool for any storyteller. In his book The Storytelling Edge, Joe Lazauskas explains that the power of a cliffhanger lies in its ability to create anticipation. When you end a story with a question or an unresolved moment, you spark curiosity. People want closure, and by withholding that closure, you make them more likely to remember and talk about your story. Consider ending your stories with a twist. Something unexpected that challenges your audience's assumptions or leaves them hanging. For instance, after sharing a success story, you might add, "But little did I know, this was just the beginning of something much bigger." This leaves a gap in their understanding, keeping them on edge. Cliffhangers don't have to be dramatic. It could be a simple, open-ended question like, "What would you do in that situation?" or a surprising fact that makes your audience reconsider what they thought they knew. This engages your audience mentally, sparking their curiosity and making them hungry for more. One important thing to remember, your cliffhanger should always feel like a natural part of the story, not a forced ending. If it feels contrived, it can turn the audience off. Make it flow smoothly from your narrative, so it feels like a natural, yet surprising, conclusion. Next time you're wrapping up a story, think about how you can leave your audience wanting more. Use a cliffhanger to spark their curiosity, leaving them eagerly awaiting your next story. It's an easy way to keep them engaged and thinking long after you've finished speaking. With these strategies, you now have the tools to become an incredible storyteller. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on how to take your speaking skills to the next level. Thanks for watching.